question is, what specifically would you do to bring more affordable housing to higher income parts of Arlington County, where it could do the most good in giving participating families a leg up?
The last phrase I didn't quite understand. How would you bring it to North Arlington, and what is this?
And what can you do, what can you do to help the participating families to give them a leg up?
Give them a leg up. Okay, fine, thank you. So housing, I think, affordable housing is one of our single toughest issues. When I meet with folks that are experts in the field, I will say to them, tell me where in the world we're doing this and it's working. And nobody yet has been able to show me where they're actually making it work well. It's very difficult. The whole thing is supply and demand, right? Everybody wants to live here. We've got great schools, we've got a wonderful community, everybody wants to live here. And consequently, there's not all that much supply, the price goes up. So we do a lot. In this last budget, we allocated $13.7 million for affordable housing, our fund, and we also put more in housing grants to help people who are in trouble because they just can't quite make the rent, and that is actually a really smart investment. If somebody can't quite make the rent, you help them out a little bit. That saves you a whole lot of money rather than have them actually lose their housing. I think in this county we need a ladder of jobs and housing because people need to be able to start at the bottom on jobs and on housing and work their way up. Right now we're kind of missing the rungs in the middle. It's hard to make that gap. There is a lot of ways that we can add flexibility to people's living arrangements. Right now, in this county, it is illegal for a family of 4 to have an au pair living with them. Because you can only have 4 unrelated people living in a house, in a single-family neighborhood. That is much of our county. There are many situations where you could have 2 couples with a child each, 6 people, they could share a house, but it's not legal. I think we need to look at that. There are cases where you have older people wanting to age in place. They've got a large house they don't need anymore, they've got high taxes. They can have a young family living with them and help take care of them and help them with the rent and help them with their taxes. Right now, they can't do that. So we totally need to look at the zoning. Finally, we need to look at affordable living here. Out of time, I think I'll be able to talk about that later. Thank you.
So I think that this is another example of where, when we talk about ideas, it all does come back to leadership. And in order to help encourage more affordable housing throughout the county, what we need to make sure that we're taking advantage of the opportunities that we have to plan for that housing. And right now we have had a tremendous grassroots civic-led effort on Lee Highway to jumpstart a planning process for Lee Highway to re-envision the future of Lee Highway, and there is support, community support already established among those that group for additional affordable housing in the Lee Highway corridor. Unfortunately, though, we've had leadership that's allowing that this prime opportunity, this interest from the citizens to rot on the vine. And instead of moving forward with and building on the momentum that we have, now that's been backburnered by the county board, and so we risk losing that momentum. And as far as what we could do to help those families, and once we plan for it and we have the options to implement some affordable housing there on Lee Highway, is that we need to recognize that part of livability and affordability across all incomes has to do with your access to transit. Transportation is the second largest component of most households' expenses. And so when we look at providing good solid transit combined with housing that's in walkable neighborhoods where you can walk to the daily needs of your life and walk to transit, that makes things inherently more livable. So we need the leadership that wants to move these kinds of initiatives forward and not just talk about them. Thank you.
Thank you.